margin. A count of Wheeler County's absentee ballots indicated the measure passed 440 to 416, County Clerk Judy Potter said. 10 years earlier, I found in one of Betty Potter's journals, white frost all around, but temperature goes to 60 degrees during the noon hour. Up early, and I serve on the day board of elections with Kathy Osborne and Virginia Sitton. Extra good turnout to vote in fossil precincts, over 75%. Two men from the Oregonian come to do a story on voting in rural Oregon, since our county is the least in population number. Betty knew the importance of the freedom to vote. The sowing of seeds of participating in elections was established at an early age. As a child, whenever a radio was not available, her father would walk to a neighbor's to learn of election results to report to the family. Susan Elizabeth Humphrey was born a girl and alive, the birth certificate states. At an early age, she attended a Wheeler County country school named Waldron, while her parents, Jim and Lizzie, lived on a farm nearby. James often herding sheep into the Ochiko Mountains. You will note a brand with an H. Can you hand me that, please? Thank you. This was handmade and used in dipping into the paint for the sheep. The roster of teachers at Waldron included Myrtle Potter, that would have become her mother-in-law, Abby Woodward Humphrey, who became a sister-in-law, and Mary Gaffney Keys, an aunt. High school years began in Mitchell and concluded in Fossil upon the death of Betty's father. She then worked on ranches near Mitchell, dating local fellows, as well as a civil conservation corps employee who assisted in the development of the bridge and picnic area at Mossy Rock, which was a welcome respite for many travelers and loggers that traveled over the West Branch Road, the first major avenue for those traveling to sheep camps, Cinnabar mines, and logging camps, and on to Points West. Seed packet number 3. Glenn Potter was definitely not up the creek without a paddle. With his one oar, crossed the river, then took Betty to the Umatilla County area, where he voiced his intentions of marrying Betty Potter if he had $10. Right on cue, the grandfather tossed him the 10 and made arrangements with a friend of his that was a justice of peace in Lewiston, Idaho, to hold the office open and perform the ceremony, which was accomplished. By the time they arrived back to Fossil, Betty's mother, Lizzie Keys Humphrey, sowed the seeds of wrath by waving a butcher knife and demanding that Betty should remain at home until she saw proof by paperwork from Lewiston. 3 days later, the paperwork and Glenn Potter showed up to begin a life together that spanned over 60 years. It has been brought to my attention that this event is impeding some of the hunting time. You perhaps have noted the DVD today of Betty and Glenn's 50th anniversary. On that day of that anniversary, which was well attended, Betty made a statement that a lot more would have been there to celebrate had it not been the first day of hunting. Married life included many hunts, both legal and non-legal, to be certain of meat on the table. Life for the two of them began whenever they resided at the Grandpa Hodge dairy, as well as Glenn working at the Umatilla Army Depot. Lana was born there in the Hermiston area, but after World War II was officially declared, Glenn saw heavy combat duty in the Philippines, while Glenna and Betty moved to the Fossil area. Bill joined the family in 1943, and after Glenn's return to the mainland U.S., life as a family began in Fossil. While Glenn was busy working for service station companies delivering petrol, Betty was riding herd on children, which at times were not her own. She worked as a clerk at the corner grocery and on a volunteer basis a clerk and treasurer for the church, as well as involved in mission circle efforts of the church to help supply needs of missionaries on the foreign field that the Fossil Church supported financially. The home was opened up to high schoolers for bed and board, such as for Zachy Keys. And after moving to Service Creek, continued to assist families by keeping their young sons through years that those families lived a distance from the schools. After Glenn told Betty that he could hear her from every service station in town, and feeling that the country life would be best for the two children, Donley Basin was purchased and a cabin that Malcolm Keyes built was moved there, where the family learned to hoe weeds in one hand and kill rattlers with a hoe in the other. In the meantime, Dave Ogle, who had been reared along the Rio Grande in Texas, started making his way to and through Oregon. After logging along the coast, he purchased a ranch near what is the present-day Putter Holdings. He had heard that Glenn was looking for a place and felt he would make a good neighbor. With the offer of the Ogles to back Glenn and Betty financially, a move was made to the Service Creek area. Glenn worked for the Wheeler County Road Department while Betty began separating cream and milk to sell to the Orleans Dairy. Her dairy herd came by traveling over the bumpy thoroughfare south of Richmond to coerce Bill Thomas, and this Tom was Zola's dad, to sell a purebred Jersey and her calf. After 7 trips, Bill must have decided Betty was serious about her undertaking. As the years rolled along, Betty also helped cook for hunters at the Bud and Ellen Nash Ranch, was a disciplinarian at a local school, and worked for a box factory. Glenn traded his skills as a road grader for the county to a grader for the Kinzu Logging Corporation, as well as the Van Arsdale Logging Company. He also assisted with estate forestry. Because of the many and varied interests of Glenn and Betty, you, as well as those that were not able to attend this special gathering, knew them in varied ways. Thank you for coming and to honor and share your stories about this duo.